Douglas Allen Bickford. It is the 20th of September 2022 at about 10:42 a.m. here, Pacific Standard Time, broadcasting live out of my 105-year-old house from my hometown of Klamath Falls, Oregon. I am a self-taught psychiatrist, therapist, and counselor. I don't have a college degree. That's why I'm self-taught. Okay. You do not have to have a college degree to learn something. People get college degrees so they can get a job because whoever hires them requires they have a college degree in whatever profession it is that they choose. So I am self-taught because I've taught myself. All the information that colleges teach comes out of books. I went right to the meat of the subject, which is psychiatry, and I taught myself how to be a psychiatrist. So it makes me qualified as a psychiatrist, therapist, and counselor to offer a free service, which is free therapy sessions, 1 hour a week, 4 times a month. There have been billions, and I said billions with a B, folks, of people have been emotionally, sexually, or physically abused. I specialize in those 3 things because I'm a victim. I taught myself, because of all my self-study of how the mind works, how to heal myself. I can heal you also. That's why I'm offering this free service. The only thing you're going to have to buy is this book. $16 is going to come right to your front door. You can call me, 458-232-5238. One more time, my number, 458-232-5238, to schedule your very first therapy session. Like I said, there have been billions of people, and there's billions of people that won't get help for it because we've been taught and trained through all the social media and the televisions and all the churches and the state governments that is a weakness to ask for help. Okay. That's why people won't call me. Plus, I don't have the college degree, so people don't think I know what I'm talking about because I don't have a college degree. But like I said, everything comes out of books. I've taught myself how to heal myself, and I can help you. Okay. So call me. But you got to know that you're going to have to get very honest with me as a psychiatrist, therapist, counselor. And you're going to have to get very honest with yourself. Otherwise, the therapy is not going to do any good. But the first step you got to take is to call me and talk to me. Okay. Then we will schedule your very first therapy session. So, and also you got to know, change is very painful because I'm going to tell you some stuff that you got to do in order to fix your unhealthy mind, okay? Because of your sexual, emotional, and physical abuse. The very first thing you have to do to fix your unhealthy mind so you can heal yourself is to attain and maintain a thing called self-esteem. It's also known as self-confidence, self-worth, self-love. It's how you feel about yourself inside. Think of self-esteem as this, okay? Most people don't even know what the 2 words mean because nobody's teaching it. How to get it, except for Douglas Allen Bickford here, trained psychiatrist, therapist, and counselor on today's day. I mean, you don't ever hear the 2 words, right? Self-esteem, self-love, self-confidence. Anyway, what it is, we've all been in romantic relationships. You know that good feeling that you get uh, when you get in a brand new relationship and you're both on cloud nine, you're bragging to all your family and friends, both of you are doing the same thing, right? How great these people are, and then they can do no wrong, and can't wait to hang out with them, be with them. They're your soulmate. God got you together on purpose. I've had that feeling several times, so it's understandable. But what self-esteem is that good feeling towards yourself. Okay. Dr. Susanna McMahon, who is 73, lives in Midway, Texas with her husband. She has the real degree in psychology. She also has a master's. She has a doctorate in psychology and master's in philosophy. Has had thousands of clients. She wrote this book. It was published, wrote it in the 90s. It's published in 1992. Every lesson, chapter, question in it talks about how we've been trained and taught, I call it brainwashing, not to have a healthy mind and not to have a self-esteem. You cannot attain a healthy mind, get healthy-minded until you have self-esteem. She knows it as a psychiatrist. I know it, and that's why I'm teaching. She's my trainer. She's where I got all my wisdom from, my training, but she has the degree. Okay, she sat in the classes for 10 years. So, and the only reason she did, so she could work and get a job and make money at it. I'm a military retired person. Took my Social Security at 62. I don't need your money. That's why I can offer this free service. And I don't need to have a job working for somebody because I don't need their money either. But I know everything that she knows about therapy, about psychiatry, and about being a counselor. That's why it can help you. Okay. So anyway, she had to come up with a concept to tell her clients to do to give themselves self-esteem. Nobody can give you self-esteem except for you. And here's that very simple concept she came up with is what I am teaching now. I have been for like 2 years on YouTube. Anyway, you look at yourself in the mirror, you say 4 things. You say, I love you, I love my inner child, I'm worthy to be loved, worthy to love, I'm full of goodness. Those 4 things will instantaneously give you self-esteem. But to maintain that self-esteem, you have to practice it. It's like lifting weights. You start lifting weights, you stop, you have to start over from scratch. To maintain self-esteem is the exact same thing for the brain. So you'll have to say those 4 things to yourself in the mirror every day for the rest of your life, literally. It will take you less than 10 seconds. I love Douglas Allen Bickford. I love my inner child. I'm worthy to be loved. I'm worthy to love. I am full of goodness. And if you're good looking and you're slender and you have lots of money and you're young, then you can say, I love Douglas Allen Bickford too. And then you and I can hook up. And then you can be my sugar mama. And then you can take care of me. Okay. Just kidding. Anyway, so the reason that mirror therapy is so powerful is because, and she knew it, and I know it now, you can't lie to yourself in the mirror. It's a psychological event that happens in your brain. You can't look dead straight in your eyes and say something you don't believe about yourself. So, the very first time you do it, folks, it's going to feel very strange and awkward. This is that thing I told you that you're going to be doing some stuff that sounds crazy, and it does sound crazy, but so it's going to feel very strange and awkward. So you're going to have to force yourself the very first time, okay? Because absolutely nobody has told you any of this before, okay? This is the very first time you've heard it, okay? So force yourself to do it beyond that feeling, right? And then say it every day. And then the more you say it, the more you feel it, the more you believe it. Okay. Uh, the reason you can get in front of the mirror in the morning when we all get older, and you can criticize yourself whether you say it or think it, uh, because that's how you feel about yourself inside, because of all our training being taught and trained, right? Just like this book talks about being taught and trained since we're little kids. That's why you can very easily say bad things about yourself, because that's what you feel about yourself inside. You can't lie to yourself in the mirror and say those four good things because you don't feel that way about yourself. Uh, so that's why mirror therapy is so powerful. And that's why you're going to have to force yourself to do it the very first time. I had to do it. I am full of self-esteem now, full of self-confidence, self-love, self-worth. And that's why I'm very confidently spreading this message. And I have been, like I said, for pushing 2 years on YouTube, okay, and posting it up on Facebook too. But anyway, so self-esteem is the absolute most important thing you can have as a human being. And here's why that is. We can't be content without it. What content means is you feel good about how, where, and what you are. It's also known as internal peace. There are 12 things that people are using to try to be content, okay, and get internal peace. And they are self-harm, which is scratching or cutting yourself or harming yourself. People commit suicide to try to make themselves feel better, right? It's a very dangerous gamble, suicide is, because none of us knows what the next step is. Okay. Uh, all the social media, Facebook, TikTok, YouTube, more I'm broadcasting here, people are using it to make themselves feel better. Okay. Drugs, all of them. Okay. All the illegal street drugs, pot's a big one now, marijuana, uh, heroin, methamphetamines, prescription pills that your doctor is doling out to you that you don't really need. Okay. Then the big one is that people don't know. Okay. Caffeine. Yes, your favorite beverage with caffeine in it. Caffeine is a stimulant. Okay. It's a stimulant to your nervous system. It's just like meth. The withdrawal, the stimulant it isn't quite as powerful as meth, but it's speed, just like meth, just like cross tops and all the other amphetamines, right? And then the other one is nicotine, is a drug, right? And the reason you don't think any like caffeine's the drug, because it doesn't say it on the coffee can that caffeine's a stimulant, a drug. People probably wouldn't drink it then, if they really realize that. But anyway, uh, nicotine, I think nicotine has a warning label on it that it'll cause cancer, but it's from the smoke, okay? It's not from the nicotine, okay? But nicotine's bad too. Now people vape it, whether they vape it or smoke it, it's all bad for you. Because it's a drug, and you get addicted to this stuff. People are addicted to caffeine, don't even know it. Think about cold turkey caffeine. Don't drink one cup of just cold turkey it and see how you feel. It's almost like a withdrawal off of speed. It is a withdrawal off speed. Okay, I've done it. I cold turkey caffeine in February of 2021 when I left my fourth marriage, which was a toxic relationship that lasted 3.5 years. Anyway, so alcohol, beer, wine, hard liquor, it's all the same. If it's got alcohol in it, it's bad for you. There's no reason to put alcohol in your body, period. Okay, I don't care what the television says. It's good to have a glass of wine a day. No, the alcohol is destroying you from the inside out. Okay. My fourth wife, like I met her and I didn't drink, and the one I left 22 months ago, just say pushing 2 years ago. Okay, it's just red wine, she says. And then it turned out she's an alcoholic in denial, because people that are alcoholics, of course, are not going to admit they're an alcoholic, but she couldn't put it down. Okay. And then I ended up drinking with her because I was trying to make the relationship work. And sure enough, that red wine took us down along with a whole bunch of other stuff. Okay. Uh, then sex, all the sex out there, right? You're using it to make yourself feel good because it feels good to have sex. Just like that warm, fuzzy feeling feels from the alcohol or the pot high when you get stoned, right? Feels good, all right? Uh, Food, exact same thing. You eat when you're hungry, but then people overeat because it makes them feel good. Then they get overweight, and then they feel bad because they overate and got overweight. It rhymes. It's all true, folks. You can see these people all over the place. I got family and friends that are addicted to all those substances, and they won't even talk to me anymore because the big one I talk about is caffeine. I was like, no way. I mean, there's a Starbucks on every freaking street corner. There's a coffee shop on every street corner, right? You would never even dream that coffee is a stimulant or caffeine's bad for you, but it's very bad for you, folks. Uh, anyway, so next one is gambling. People go to the casino, they go to the bar where they got video poker, right? You go play, it feels good while you're playing it, but it feels terrible when you lose. I mean, people commit suicide because they lose everything they own because they're gamblers, right? Excuse me. I knew a guy, 2001, I met him. I was a campground host up on Mount Hood, Oregon, right? Which, in 2001, me and my wife were, my third wife, which ended up bad, okay, because I got into it with no self-esteem. Anyway, excuse me again. Uh, I knew a guy, he was the boss of the campground host, like me, right? He told me his wife, she's addicted to gambling. I'm talking about the video poker machines in all the bars. They lived in Montana. He lost his house because of his wife's addiction to gambling. He told me that. He was living in an RV. And that's how bad gambling is. Okay. The next one is television. Turn on the boob tube, man. Feels good while you're sitting behind it. My sister's one of these. 70, probably 71 years old, lives in Florida, right? It's all about the television. It's got nothing better to do. So you turn on the boob tube, makes you feel good while you're watching it. I don't care if you're watching whatever you watch. It doesn't matter what it is. The news, all the movies and all that. Makes you feel good, but as soon as you turn it off, it doesn't feel good anymore. So then people become couch potatoes, okay? Sit there and watch the television because they retire and they got nothing better to do. But they do have lots of better things to do. Anything's better than watching the boob tube, right? I refuse to even turn the thing on. I won't. I got too much stuff going on. I'm a musician, and I got a two-story house that needs cleaned. I got all my little kitty cats, and I clean my house every day. I mean, I don't have time to watch anything on television, and I refuse to watch it even on my phone, okay? Because that's where they got us with all the news now comes into your phone. So people are constantly looking at their phone, okay? Next one is religion. Okay? You go to church, it feels good, man, while you're in the church. It doesn't matter which one it is. Christian, Muslim, Orthodox, Jew, Buddhist, Catholic, Seventh-day Adventist, Jehovah's Witness. My sister was one of these. Is a Jehovah's Witness. She's making that herself feel good with that religion, even though her life's falling apart, right? All her kids and everything. But anyway, so uh, all of them, doesn't matter, Baptist, Lutheran, Catholic, and the list goes on and on about all these different religions. As you go to church, it feels good to do all that stuff with those people, the communion, the potlucks, and all that. Hang around with all those people that believe like you. And then as soon as you go away, it doesn't feel good anymore. Okay. And the next one is material possessions. You get something different and something new. A big one is you get a new car or a different car. Sits out your driveway, then you got to stuck with a huge payment, right? And high insurance because you owe on it to the bank, right? And they stick it to you. My daughter did this. She had a car that was paid for in cash, a Subaru Tribeca. Thing was a nice car. She had paid for it cash, was done with it. She traded the thing in and she told me, I had the engine light on, Dad, so I traded it. I only paid $28,000 for my Jeep Wrangler. You know what I mean? But there's people are doing that in droves to make themselves feel better. Then you come to the realization, wow, I got a hard car payment. Now that thing's sitting on the driveway, right? The good feeling goes away. It doesn't never last. Hoarders become hoarders because they're trying to make themselves feel good, okay, with stuff. And and then their houses get all filled up with this junk. 100 pairs of shoes in your closet, folks, is hoarding. I hate to tell you this. I got this buddy. He's not even my friend. He's a hoarder, big time. Him and his wife both, but they're separated, right? His house is full of junk. Her house is full of junk. Stuff they never use. And then they just keep piling more stuff because they're trying to make themselves feel better. Okay. Next one is a new relationship, man. You get a new relationship, you know that good feeling. Okay. And then after the good feeling goes away, then you can get rid of that person, literally, whether you divorce them or just go jump into another relationship to get the same feel good. And then that one goes by the wayside too. Okay. And then the very last thing is dinero, the green. You get some money, man. Feels good when you get it. I don't care how much you get. You get $5,000. You get $1,000. It feels good to get that money. But then as soon as you spend it, that good feeling goes away. There's absolutely only one thing that's going to give you eternal peace and make you feel content permanently, and that's to attain and maintain self-esteem. And that is by saying, I love you, I love my inner child, I'm worthy to be loved, I'm worthy to love, I am full of goodness, into mirror to yourself every day without fail. I've been saying to myself for over 2 years, or for 2 years, pushing 2 years. I will continue to do it, and I will continue to keep spreading this message all over YouTube. Send it to Facebook. Okay. I'm live today on YouTube. And this is where I'm going to go live at. Continually on YouTube. Anyway, the next reason that self-esteem is the absolute most important thing you can have on the planet as a human being, and here's that reason. Can't love without it, you can't be loved. So what happens is, without self-esteem, you'll get in a relationship with somebody without it. Okay? Here's how you know if you have self-esteem. If you can very confidently say those four things to yourself in the mirror, without fail every day, then that means you have it. And if you're married to somebody, they should be able to do the same thing in the mirror. And instead of calling me crazy when I tell you that and turning me off. Okay? Now that's how you know if you have it. And if you can't say those 4 things to yourself in the mirror, you don't have it. Okay? So what happens is you're going to attract somebody just like you that doesn't have it if you don't have it. Okay? And as soon as that good feeling goes away, 2 people without self-esteem, whether you marry them or you don't marry them, the relationship becomes toxic. After all the everyday drama starts happening, you get tired of that person. They get tired of you. And then that's when the cheating starts, the fights and the arguments, calling each other names, getting in the car, going down the road, can't get away from the maniac. You're telling all your family friends about how terrible these people are. Trying to make yourself feel good by going and picking up strange people to have sex with. And so after it becomes toxic, you split up or separate, right? Or divorce if you married them, right? So then the same 2 people will go jump in another relationship without self-esteem, and the exact same thing will happen. That's why I've been married 4 times and divorced 4 times. It's why you've been married more than once. It's why I've had many failed relationships. It's why you have had many failed relationships, because you got in them without self-esteem. The next thing that'll happen to the got together with no self-esteem is this. They will stay in that toxic relationship forever, okay? Because they don't want to be failures. They're codependent on each other for whatever reason. They can't be alone. They say, my daughter's one of these. Oh, well, they can't live together because they fight and argue about everything. They split up. They've lived together, split up more than, different times. And currently she's split up from the guy. But I'm just gonna, I go, why are you with that guy? You can't live with him. And she's like, well, I can't find anybody else. I go, well, let's try being alone. and I told her to do that, trying to teach her, how to attain and maintain self-esteem so she can get out of that, get away from that so she can live alone. But anyway, she's one of those that codependent on him because she needs somebody to tell her he loves her, right? Even though he abuses her verbally and emotionally. But she does the same thing back for that guy. I've heard the conversations. But anyway, so let's stay in it forever. She's been with that guy for like 8 years or something ridiculous amount. And my son's in the same predicament. He won't listen to me either, but they're codependent on each other for whatever reason. They don't want to be alone. They are afraid to leave. They don't want to be an embarrassment to all their family and friends. And they have nowhere to go, so they'll stay stuck in it forever. Okay? Then, once the relationship, they stay together, right, it becomes a dysfunctional family at that point, and all the emotional, sexual, and physical abuse that those 2 did to each other and their children gets swept under the rug. And then dysfunctional families create more dysfunctional families down the line, and the cycle just continues. The very last thing that happens to 2 that got together with no self-esteem is this. After so many failed relationships and marriages, they'll just go, screw it, I'm done. I can't be with anybody. And they'll just exit out of the romantic scene, okay? And but they'll be just as miserable alone as they were in a relationship because you can't be content without self-esteem. So they'll use the 12 things to try to make themselves feel good. Douglas Allen Bickford, trained psychiatrist, therapist, and counselor, self-taught. And remember, you don't need a college degree to learn something, folks. I'm not crazy for doing this, okay? I can help you, self-taught. I've learned how to heal myself, okay? And like I said, for your first thing you need to heal yourself is to attain and maintain self-esteem like I have, okay? So, the cure is, the fix is, say 4 things to yourself in the mirror daily without fail, all parties involved. That'll make the person that's all alone out there content. That'll fix a toxic relationship if everybody does it. And then get this book and go through the many other concepts in this book or get a hold of me, and I will be your therapist, psychiatrist, and counselor, and mentor you and help you get through it and keep at it, keep doing the right thing, right? Because we'll be going through this book one lesson at a time, okay? And then it will fix a toxic relationship. If you're in a toxic relationship that the other person doesn't want to change, give you the strength and courage to remove yourself. If you're in a dysfunctional family and you want to change and nobody else in the family wants to get help and get fixed, then it'll give you the strength and courage to remove yourself from that family. I've had to do it to my own children, my own grandkids, my own ex-in-laws, my own brothers and sisters. They don't want to have nothing to do with me because, number one, I'm doing this on YouTube. They think I'm a lunatic. They don't have self-esteem, and they don't want to listen to anything I'm saying. They won't even talk to me anymore because my son won't talk to me. My daughter barely talks to me. Anyway, so it will fix you. I guarantee it. That's why it's very painful to attain and maintain self-esteem. But there's a lot of things you have to accept. Life is full of pain, life is full of fear, and we all die, folks. And ultimately, we are all alone. Okay. And anyway, I can teach you all this stuff. 458-232-5238. Call me anytime, day or night. Anyway, I'm going through this book one lesson at a time. Here's that next lesson. Lesson number 8. Why can't life be fair? This is my Lone Rider Motor Club. I ride alone, Oregon, and I truly ride alone. It's for my Harley and all my tricked out vehicles I got. That's why I call it Moto Club. And the reason I won't be in a motorcycle club or any of those clubs, you always have to do something bad to get the patch. So I got my own patch. And if you can join my motor club too if you want. There you have to do nothing except for don't drink and drive. And you can call me at 458-232-5238 and I will hook you up. I got t-shirts, hats, and sweatshirts, okay, that go along with that. They all say the same thing, but you'll have to pay for that stuff too, including the stickers for your vehicles. But that's pretty cool, isn't it? Doo-hoo. Anyway, lesson number 8. Why can't life be fair? The reality that life is not fair seems to be one of the most difficult and painful concepts for clients to accept. Perhaps the reason for this is that our Western linear model, here's that what training comes from, folks, implies that it is a fair world, and if you work hard enough and long enough, you will achieve your goals. Perhaps the ideals behind the creation of the United States, the values of equality and fairness for all, have led us to assume that this is the way the world should work. We want to be able to, whatever the reasons, the fact remains that we want the world to be fair. We want to be able to depend on something concrete. We want some guarantees for our safety, security, and well-being. The fact that these guarantees do not exist stop us from, the fact that these guarantees do not exist do not stop us from wanting them. Many of our defense mechanisms, our illusions, television, and our denials, denying that you're an alcoholic like my fourth wife, and couldn't put it down, have to do with not accepting the fact that life is unfair. Life is not fair because fairness is a value judgment. This means that what is fair is subjective. It changes according to who is rating what and when and why. What is fair to me today may no longer be fair tomorrow or in different circumstances or around different people. An example, the promotion that I worked hard for was given to you. It is not fair to me, but very fair according to your perspective. And even if you agree with me that it was not fair, next month you will justify the fairness of it by believing you are doing a good job. The importance of the concept of life is not fair is not in the explanations of it, but in the acceptance. The question, why not, is a crazy making one. There will always be reasons why life should be fair to you, and you may spend hours defending, denying, fighting, or being depressed because something unfair has happened to you again. The big issues of unfairness, the life and death issues, will never be explained in the way that makes sense. There is no answer to why question when someone you love is dying. We may know the how, cancer, heart disease, another disease, accident, but we will never ever know the why. And we don't either, folks. And pondering the why causes dysfunctional behavior. This is a very different process from accepting and grieving. Grief eventually ends. It is a natural process. Wondering why may never end. It is unproductive. At some point, we must let go of why and accept the reality and get on with the business of living. You have to do all this stuff, folks, to get healthy minded, especially if you want to get over your emotional, physical, and sexual abuse. Trying to make the world fair is both destructive and self-defeating. Many good-natured people run around trying to fix the unfairness of it all. Some of these we call codependents. That was my fourth wife. And living martyrs. Some are living martyrs and very few are truly saints. Codependents and living martyrs tend to be filled with anger, resentment, envy, and insecurity. The non-acceptance of this concept creates bitterness, unhappiness, and unnecessary pain and prevents the possibility of growth. This is truly not fair. The paradox here is that the acceptance of the reality that life is unfair often leads to behaviors which are more objective, more loving and caring, more realistic than the behaviors of non-accepting. These accepting ones are often perceived as more fair than those who are trying to force the world to be fair. Woo! There's another very powerful lesson for you folks. Like I said, call me 458-232-5238 to schedule your very first therapy session. I know what I'm talking about. I can help you. Nobody's doing what I do. I'm going to have another lesson for you tomorrow, which lesson 9, what effect does my past have on me? You all have a great day out there on this Tuesday. I'll have you guys, I'll talk to you tomorrow.